The night Vanessa destroyed me. I was 25 and stupid enough to believe love always rewarded sacrifice. I had worked 14 hours that day, yet I still smiled when Marcus dropped into the chair across from my desk. "You look terrible," he said. "I feel terrible." "Then go home." "I can't." He leaned forward. "Ethan, you've been here since 6. "I know. And tomorrow is your anniversary." I touched the small velvet box inside my jacket. Marcus noticed. "You bought it?" I nodded. His expression softened. "So you're really doing this? Tomorrow night. You sure?" I frowned. "About Vanessa?" "About everything." "What does that mean?" Marcus hesitated. "She's been distant lately." "She's busy." "She cancels plans." "She has work." "She barely visits your office anymore." I laughed quietly. "You're acting like 6 years disappear because she missed dinner twice." "I'm saying pay attention." "I do pay attention." "Then tell me why you look worried." I looked away. Vanessa and I had survived things that should have broken us. When she struggled through business school, I covered rent. When her mother, Margaret, became sick, I sat beside Vanessa through hospital nights and paid bills I could barely afford. We had always said the same thing. One day, the struggle would mean something. "She loves me," I said. "Ma kusite." "I hope you're right." "I am." The next afternoon, Vanessa called. "Happy anniversary." I said. Her silence lasted too long. "Ethan, I'm sorry." My smile disappeared. "What happened?" "I have to work late." "Tonight?" "My company is hosting clients at the Grand Meridian. We had reservations." "I know. I planned something. Can we do it tomorrow?" I looked at the ring box on my desk. "Sure. You're not angry?" "Disappointed." "I'll make it up to you." "You promise?" "I promise." After we hung up, Marcus stared at me. "She canceled?" "She's working." "Ethan." "Don't." I tried working for another hour, but I could not focus. Finally, I grabbed my jacket. Marcus stood. "Where you going?" "The Grand Meridian." His eyes narrowed. "I'm not spying on her. I'll surprise her after the event." "With the ring?" I smiled weakly. Maybe tonight can still be our night. The hotel lobby glittered with marble chandeliers, and people who looked richer than everyone I knew combined. I asked an employee where Vanessa's company event was being held. "Second floor, sir. East Ballroom." I climbed the stairs. Music drifted through the hallway. I saw employees moving between the ballroom and a private lounge nearby. Then I heard Vanessa laugh. I stopped. Her laugh had been my favorite sound for years. I followed it. Through the partly open lounge door, I saw her sitting beside Damien Cross. I knew him immediately. Everyone in business did. Damien was the wealthy son of Richard Cross, founder Cross Holdings. Vanessa's hand rested inside his. My body went cold. Damien smiled at her. "So what happened to Ethan?" Vanessa lowered her eyes. "Ethan is a good man, but I'm tired of struggling." My fingers closed around the ring box. Damien leaned closer. "Do you feel guilty?" Vanessa gave a broken laugh. "Of course I do." "Then why are you here?" She looked directly at him. "Because love does not pay bills." Something inside me died without making a sound. I pushed the door open. Vanessa's face turned white. "Ethan?" Damien did not move. I walked inside. Vanessa pulled her hand away from his. "What are you doing here?" "I came to surprise you." Her eyes dropped toward my jacket. I asked, "How long?" "Ethan, please." "How long?" Damien leaned back. "Maybe you should calm down." I looked at him. "I didn't ask you." Vanessa stood. 3 months. I stared at her. 3 months. "I didn't plan this." "You accidentally held his hand?" "That's not what I mean." "Did you sleep with him?" She closed her eyes. That answered me. I swallowed hard. "How many times?" "Don't do this." "How many?" "I don't know." Damien stood beside her. She made her choice. I turned toward him. He smiled. "Vanessa wants a better future. You think you're a future?" "I know I can give her what you can't." Vanessa whispered, "Damien." "No," I said. "Let him talk." He shrugged. You work yourself to death just to survive. She got tired of waiting. I looked at Vanessa. Is that true? Tears filled her eyes. I wanted stability. I gave you everything I had. I know. I paid your tuition. I know. I sat with your mother every night she was sick. I know, Ethan. Then why wasn't I enough? She wiped her cheek. Because I'm tired of being afraid every month. I reached inside my jacket. Vanessa stared as I removed the velvet box. What is that? I opened it. Her lips parted. Damien's smile vanished. I placed the ring on the table. I was going to ask you tonight. Vanessa covered her mouth. Ethan, I spent 8 months saving for it. She began crying. I didn't know. That's the problem. She reached toward me. I stepped back. Maybe one day you'll understand why I chose security, she whispered. I looked at the woman I had loved for 6 years. One day you'll understand what it cost you. The next morning, Marcus called before sunrise. Get to the office. What happened? Our biggest investor pulled out. I sat upright. What? All funding. Effective immediately. By 8, I was staring at the termination notice. Marcus pointed at another document. They announced a partnership yesterday. With who? He hesitated. Cross Holdings. My stomach twisted. You think Damien did this? I don't know. Neither did I. By evening, I had sent my employees home. I stood alone in the dark office, holding Vanessa's ring. I had taken it from the hotel table. Before leaving, Marcus stood in the doorway. What are you going to do? I closed my fist around the ring. That night, I stopped believing loyalty could protect anyone from a calculated betrayal. Disappear. 5 years changed everything except the memory of that hotel. When my plane landed, Marcus looked out the window and smiled. Ready? No. That is the first honest thing you've said all morning. I adjusted my cuff. I'm here for business. Marcus laughed. Of course you are. I did not answer. After my first company collapsed, Marcus and I left the country with more debt than confidence. We rented a tiny office overseas and invested nearly everything we had left into a struggling software company. Everyone told us we were insane. They were almost right. The software exploded in value. Within 18 months, we sold part of our stake, bought 2 failing businesses, repaired them, and bought more. 1 company became 5. 5 became 20. Eventually, Carter Dominion was born. My name rarely appeared publicly. Marcus attended interviews. Executives handled press conferences. Investors knew I existed, but most people did not know my face. I preferred it that way. Until now. Sophia Grant met us inside Carter Dominion City office. She placed a file on the conference table. Cross Holdings owes more than the public numbers suggest. How much? Enough to make Damien nervous. Marcus smirked. That sounded expensive. Sophia ignored him. Several banks want to sell portions of the debt. If we acquire enough, we can control the restructuring. I opened the file. And if we refuse? Cross Holdings could lose access to emergency financing. Marcus looked at me. Sophia noticed. There's history here. I kept reading. There's history everywhere. Not like this. I met her eyes. What do you know? I know you founded a technology company 5 years ago. I know it collapsed after an investor withdrew. I know Cross Holdings benefited from the same investor shortly afterward. Marcus leaned back. Sophia continued. And I know you suddenly look like you want to break this table. I'm fine. You're not. I closed the file. Damien Cross took something from me. What? Someone. Sophia paused. That explains Vanessa Blake. My jaw tightened. She nodded toward another page. She's listed as Damien's guest for today's meeting. I stood. Then let's begin. The Cross Holdings boardroom looked exactly like the kind of place Damien would love. Glass walls, expensive wood, city views designed to remind everyone how high they were. I entered first with Sophia. Several directors greeted me politely without recognition. Then the door opened. Vanessa walked in beside Damien. I forgot how to breathe. She looked older, more polished, more careful. Her eyes found mine. She stopped. Ethan? Damien looked between us. You know him? Vanessa did not answer. I forced myself to sit. Damien gave me a dismissive smile. You're with Carter Dominion? I am. Advisory, something like that. Vanessa remained silent. Damien sat across from me. I'll make this simple. Cross Holdings does not need outsiders trying to control our company. Sophia opened her folder. You requested restructuring discussions. I requested financing. Financing requires conditions. Damien looked at me. And you are... Before I could answer, the door opened again. Marcus entered with 2 executives. He nodded toward me. Mr. Carter, the board is ready for your decision. Vanessa turned pale. Damien frowned. Your decision? I leaned back. Carter Dominion has acquired enough of your outstanding debt to influence whether several banks extend your current loans. Damien stared at me. You own Carter Dominion? I control it. Vanessa whispered. Oh my God. Damien's face hardened. This company does not need rescuing. Good. What? Then you should have no problem if we refuse the restructuring. His confidence cracked. You're threatening me. No, I'm explaining numbers. He pushed back his chair. This is ridiculous. A deeper voice came from the doorway. Sit down, Damien. Richard Cross entered. I recognized him immediately from business magazines. Damien turned. Father, this is unnecessary. Richard ignored him and looked at me. Mr. Carter, I apologize. For what? My son sometimes mistakes pride for strategy. Damien's jaw tightened. Richard sat beside him. We understand our position. That sentence told me everything. Richard knew they were in trouble. The meeting continued for another hour. When it ended, I left before Damien could speak to me. Vanessa followed. Ethan. I kept walking. Please. I stopped. She approached carefully. You're a billionaire? I looked at her. Would it have mattered 5 years ago? Her lips parted. Nothing came out. That's what I thought. Ethan, I didn't know. You knew enough. I thought your company was failing. I was scared. So was I. She looked down. I'm engaged to Damien. I know. It's complicated. Not for me. She looked hurt. I didn't follow you to ask for anything. Then don't. That night, Carter Dominion sponsored charity gala. I attended because Marcus insisted disappearing again would create questions. Vanessa found me near the balcony. Can we talk? You already did. Damien and I aren't happy. I almost laughed. Why are you telling me? Because you think I chose some perfect life. You chose him. I made a mistake. That sounds like regret, not love. She flinched. Before she could answer, Sophia appeared. I need you. Her tone changed everything. I followed her into a private room. She locked the door and placed several documents on a table. What am I looking at? Contracts tied to your old company. My pulse slowed. That company is dead. These records aren't. I scanned the pages. Dates. Investor transfers. Acquisition proposals. Internal approvals. Then I saw the same signature again and again. Damien Cross. I looked at Sophia. What did he do? I don't know yet. I stared at the pages until Vanessa, the gala, and 5 years of imagined revenge disappeared from my mind. My heartbreak had suddenly become evidence. Find everything. Sophia nodded. I closed the file. 4 or 5 years. I wanted Damien to regret taking Vanessa. Now I wanted the whole truth. If he had helped destroy my company before stealing my future, then this was never only betrayal. It had been planned from the beginning. I kept Damien waiting 3 days. Sophia hated that. We have enough evidence to move, she said. I want more. You want him nervous? Yes. Marcus folded his arms. That isn't strategy. It is to me. Sophia pushed open the conference room door. Then meet Daniel Price. Daniel shook my hand. I trace money people hope nobody remembers. Find mine. I already did. He opened a folder. 5 years ago, your largest investor received pressure from Meridian Capital. I remember Meridian. You shouldn't. It was a shell. Whose? Daniel slid another document toward me. Cross Holdings controlled it indirectly. He continued. 2 days after your investor withdrew, Damian Cross authorized an offer to purchase your unfinished software patents through another company. Marcus cursed. He didn't find me after I failed. Daniel shook his head. No, he helped me fail. Yes. Sophia said, Ethan, he took my funding, waited for bankruptcy, then tried buy my technology. That is what the records show. Don't do anything stupid. I want dinner with him. Why? Because I want to watch him realize I know. Expose him legally. I will. Then why play games? I looked at him. Because 5 years ago, he watched my life collapse while smiling. Marcus lowered his voice. Don't become him. I won't. You wanted to negotiate? Sit. He glanced around. No lawyers. Not tonight. He sat. I placed Daniel's record between us. Damian looked down. His smile disappeared. Where did you get these? Did taking Vanessa from me not feel like enough? He leaned back. You think this proves something? I think it proves you pressure my investor. No. I think you tried buy my patents after forcing me toward bankruptcy. His eyes hardened. You always were dramatic. Why? He said nothing. Why, Damian? He finally laughed. You really don't remember? Remember what? Northbridge. My chest tightened. Years before my collapse, my startup had beaten a larger company for the Northbridge development contract. Damian tapped the table. That company was mine. I didn't know. My father did. He spent months telling executives that some nobody with 6 employees had beaten me. So you destroyed my company because your father embarrassed you? You made me look weak. You did that yourself. His jaw tightened. Then I met Vanessa. I leaned forward. What about her? She was unhappy. She was vulnerable. She wanted more. You used her. She made choices. I grabbed the edge of the table. Damian smiled again. You still don't know everything. Talk. Vanessa knew I was interfering with your company. My anger stopped cold. You're lying. Ask her. When? Before she left you. I stood. Damian looked pleased. Careful, Ethan. Sometimes the truth ruins revenge. I left without answering. Vanessa agreed to meet me at Carter Dominion an hour later. She entered my office looking worried. What happened? I locked the door. Did you know? Know what? That Damian was interfering with my company. Her face changed. No. Look at me. I am. Did you know? No. I placed the documents before her. She stared at them. Vanessa. Her eyes filled. I didn't know everything. My chest burned. So you knew. Damian said your company was already failing. He caused it. I didn't know that. But you knew he was pressuring investors? She covered her face. Answer me. Yes. The word nearly broke me again. Why? My mother's bills were getting worse. I was paying them. And drowning yourself. I chose that. You were losing everything. So you helped him take the rest? She cried harder. He promised to cover my mother's treatment. He offered me a senior position. He said you would recover. I stared at her. Did you ever love me? Yes. Then why did you help him bury me? I thought you'd survive. I stepped back. You sacrificed me because you thought I was strong enough to survive it. I was scared. So was I. Ethan, please. Leave. I can explain. You already did. The next morning, Sophia entered with another woman. This is Claire Morgan. I recognized her immediately. You work for me. Claire nodded. Until the company closed. Why are you here? Because I kept something. She placed a flash drive on my desk. Emails Damian tried to erase. Sophia said, Claire contacted me after seeing your return. Claire continued. Damian used the same methods later. Hidden losses, false disclosures, shell companies. Can you prove it? I kept copies. Daniel reviewed them that afternoon. When he finished, his expression was grim. This could trigger criminal investigations. Then release it. Sophia stopped me. Not yet. Why? Because Cross Holdings could collapse immediately. That's Damien's problem. A man waiting outside entered. Sophia introduced him. Noah Bennett, employee representative. Noah faced me directly. 800 workers depend on this company. I didn't create this mess. I know. Then talk to Damien. I have. He doesn't listen. I said nothing. Noah continued. If lenders panic, pensions freeze. Families lose jobs. People who never met Damien pay for his crimes. He deserves whatever happens. Noah nodded. Damien deserves whatever is coming. My people don't. For the first time, revenge had faces I could not hate. That evening, Sophia placed 2 folders before me. What are these? The first is restructuring. We protect employees, stabilize the debt, remove Damien, then report the evidence properly. And the second? Full disclosure tomorrow morning. Cross Holdings may collapse before lunch. Marcus stood silently behind her. Sophia pushed both folders toward me. Which one do you want? I looked at them. 5 years earlier, I would have begged anyone with power to show me mercy. Nobody had. Now Damien's future, Vanessa's security, Richard's company, and hundreds of innocent livelihoods rested beneath my hands. Part of me wanted destruction. Another part remembered exactly what destruction felt like. I placed one hand on each folder. For years, I had dreamed about having this power. I had never wondered what it would cost me to use it. I chose the restructuring folder. Marcus stared at me. You're saving Cross Holdings? No. Sophia understood first. You're saving the employees. And removing Damien. Marcus smiled. Now that sounds like strategy. The next morning, Richard Cross sat across from me. I pushed the agreement toward him. These are my conditions. He read silently. Emergency financing? Yes. Employee pensions remain protected? Yes. His eyes moved lower. Independent audit. Mandatory. And Damien steps down as CO. Immediately, Richard looked at me. He's my son. He's also your problem. You want me to remove him publicly. I want him removed legally. Richard closed the folder. What happens if I refuse? Carter Dominion withdraws. The evidence goes to regulators. Your lenders make their own decisions. And if I accept, we stabilize the company while investigators separate Damien's crimes from legitimate operations. Richard looked exhausted. You hate my son. Yes. I appreciate the honesty. I won't pretend otherwise. He picked up the pen. Then neither will I. He signed. The emergency board meeting began 2 hours later. Damien entered late. What is he doing here? Richard said, sit down. Damien looked at me. This is a family company. Not when you need my money. His face tightened. Richard opened the meeting. Effective immediately, I am recommending Damien's removal as chief executive pending an independent investigation. Damien laughed. Nobody joined him. You can't be serious. I am. Damien slammed his hand against the table. This is Ethan's revenge. I remained seated. He bought our debt because of Vanessa. He's using Carter Dominion to settle a personal grudge. One director looked at me. Mr. Carter? Our history is real. Damien pointed at me. There, he admits it. I continued. Our evidence is also real. Fabricated evidence. Sophia placed copies before the directors. I looked around the table. If the evidence against him is false, the investigation will clear him. Damien went silent. I knew why. So, did he? Richard said security. Damien turned toward his father. You're choosing him over me? I'm choosing 800 employees over your pride. You're destroying this family. No, Richard said quietly. I think you already did that. 2 security officers approached. Damien looked at Vanessa. She stood near the wall. Say something. Vanessa lowered her eyes. Vanessa, she finally looked at him. I can't defend you anymore. His face changed. You're leaving me too? I already ended our engagement. The room became silent. Damien stared at her, then at me. This isn't finished. I watched security escort him away. 5 years earlier, Damien had told me Vanessa chose a better future because I could not compete. Now he was losing his company, his position. And Vanessa, while I sat in control, I expected satisfaction. Instead, I felt tired. That evening, Vanessa called. Can you meet me? Why? At our old apartment building. I almost refused. Then she said, there's something I should have given you years ago. I went. The building looked smaller than I remembered. Vanessa waited outside. You came. What's this about? She reached into her coat and removed a velvet box. My chest tightened. No, I kept it. I stared at her. I took it from the hotel table after you walked away. You had this for 5 years? Yes. Why? I don't know. That's not true. She opened the box. The engagement ring still looked exactly as I remembered. I think part of me knew what I destroyed. She placed it in my hand. I thought choosing Damien would protect me from struggling. I didn't understand that I was choosing someone who needed me weak. You still chose him. I know. And you knew what he was doing to me. I know. Her voice broke. I ended the engagement. I heard. I don't want his money. I don't want his position. What do you want? She looked at me. You. The word hit somewhere I thought had healed. Don't. Could we try again? I looked at the windows above us. Once, Vanessa and I had lived behind one of them. We ate cheap food, counted every dollar, and promised someday we would laugh about those years. For one dangerous moment, I wanted that life back. Then another thought came. I could accept her. I could let her believe she had won me again. Then I could abandon her. The idea frightened me because part of me wanted it. Ethan, I looked at her. If I had come back broke, would you still be standing here? Her lips parted. She said nothing. 1 second passed. Then another. That hesitation answered me. I took her hand and closed her fingers around the ring. Then this isn't love. It's regret. She started crying. That's not fair. Neither was what you did. I walked away. The next morning, Sophia called me before sunrise. We have a problem. What? Damien leaked documents to media. By the time I reached the office, reporters were outside. Marcus handed me his phone. The headline accused Carter Dominion of manipulating Cross Holdings into financial distress before buying its debt. Can he prove this? No, Sophia said, because the documents are altered. Claire entered carrying a laptop. I have the originals. Daniel followed her, and I traced the altered files. To Damien? Directly. Sophia looked at me. This just became evidence tampering. Richard arrived an hour later. I'll testify. I studied him. Against your son? Against what he did. He could face prison. Richard's expression hardened. If I protect him, innocent employees pay instead. Investigators arrived that afternoon. Damien was questioned regarding fraud, market manipulation, and evidence tampering. I saw him outside the building. He stopped when he noticed me. You finally got your revenge. I shook my head. No, you built this yourself. I just stopped protecting you from the consequences. For the first time, Damien had nothing to say. I watched him leave and understood something I had missed for 5 years. Power was not destroying someone. Power was having the chance to become cruel and choosing justice instead. Several months passed before I stopped checking the news for Damien's name. The charges kept growing. Fraud, market manipulation, evidence tampering. Civil lawsuits followed from investors who claimed they had been misled. One morning, Marcus dropped a newspaper onto my desk. Your favorite person made the front page again. He was never my favorite person. You spent 5 years thinking about him. That doesn't make him my favorite. Marcus smiled. Progress. I pushed the newspaper aside. Cross Holdings had survived. Richard remained temporary chairman, while Carter Dominion supervised the restructuring. We protected pensions, renegotiated debt, and removed executives connected to Damien's schemes. 800 employees kept their jobs. Noah found me after a company meeting. Got a minute? Sure. He shook my hand. I wanted to thank you. You already did. Not properly. You don't owe me anything. My people expected layoffs. Some expected bankruptcy. I almost chose that. But you didn't. I looked through the glass wall at employees returning to their desks. Damien deserved consequences. Noah nodded. So, did anyone who helped him. But they didn't deserve this place collapsing around them. That decision mattered. I appreciated his words more than I expected. A week later, Margaret Blake contacted me. I nearly refused a meeting. Then curiosity won. We met at a quiet cafe. She looked older. Thank you for coming, Ethan. What did you want? To apologize. I waited. She twisted her hands together. When Vanessa started seeing Damien, I knew. My jaw tightened. How much? Not everything. But enough. Yes. Did you encourage her? Margaret looked down. Yes. I leaned back. Why? Because I was terrified. Of me? Of poverty. She swallowed. I spent most of my life worrying about rent, medical bills, food. When I became sick, I watched you work yourself sick helping us. I chose to help. I know. Then why punish me for it? I thought Vanessa would spend her life struggling beside you. You thought Damien's money made him better. I thought it made him safe. And now, tears appeared in her eyes. Now I understand money never made him safe. I said nothing. I pushed my daughter toward a man I barely knew because I was afraid she'd repeat my life. Fear explains choices. She looked at me. It does not erase them. I know. Do you? She nodded slowly. I do now. I stood, then learned from it. You forgive me? I paused. I understand you. That's not the same thing. She accepted that. So, did I? Back at the office. Marcus watched me pour coffee. You're different. Older, less angry. I still get angry. Not like before. I sat across from him. For years, every success had secretly belonged to Vanessa and Damien. Every acquisition said, look what you lost. Every $1 million said, you were wrong about me. Every victory was another argument with people who were not even in the room. I gave them too much. I said. Marcus frowned. Money? Power. Damien has very little power now. Not business power. Power over me. He understood. You built Carter Dominion because of them? Partly. And now, I looked around my office. Now I want to know what I build without them. Sophia entered carrying a proposal. Good timing. Marcus groaned. That usually means expensive timing. Sophia ignored him and handed me the file. Cross Holdings is stable enough for a permanent acquisition. I scanned the numbers. You recommend buying it? Financially, it makes sense. Marcus leaned forward. You own Damien's empire. That sentence once would have excited me. Now it felt strangely small. No. Sophia blinked. No. We recover our investment, complete restructuring, and leave independent management. Marcus smiled. You're sure? I don't need his company. Sophia closed the file. That's probably the healthiest billion-dollar decision I've heard. 2 days later, Vanessa messaged me. One final meeting. The Grand Meridian. I stared at the name before agreeing. The hotel had barely changed. Vanessa waited inside the same lounge where I had discovered her betrayal. Thank you for coming. Why here? Because this is where I broke us. I sat opposite her. She looked different without Damien's expensive world surrounding her. I left Cross Holdings, she said. I heard. I found a job. Good. Nothing impressive. It doesn't need to impress me. She smiled sadly. I know. For once. She did not ask me to reconsider. She did not defend herself. She simply looked at me and said, I hope someday you remember something good about us. I felt an unexpected ache. I already do. That's why losing it hurt. Her eyes filled. Do you hate me? I thought about it. 5 years ago. Hatred had kept me moving. Now I searched myself and found something quieter. No. She looked surprised. I just don't belong to that story anymore. Vanessa wiped her cheek. Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, Vanessa. I watched her leave. I stayed alone for several minutes. Then I removed the engagement ring from my pocket. She had returned it after our last meeting. I had carried it since, unsure why. I found an envelope at the hotel desk and placed the ring inside. Then I wrote a short letter. You thought losing her meant losing your future. You were wrong. I sealed it. The next morning, Marcus joined me at our new education foundation. Young entrepreneurs filled the building, learning from mentors and presenting ideas. Many had already lost businesses. Marcus nudged me. You know, billionaire revenge stories are supposed to end with mansions, cars, and humiliated enemies. Maybe this is revenge. He laughed. Helping people? I shook my head. Becoming someone they could never destroy. His smile disappeared. That sounds better. I looked through the glass at founders rebuilding after failure. Once, I had believed Damien destroyed my future. Then I believed becoming richer than him would prove he hadn't. Both beliefs gave him too much importance. Revenge gave me energy. Freedom gave me peace. I walked toward the exit. Marcus called. Where you going? Forward. For once. That's not dramatic. I laughed and kept walking. I did not look backward. Damien would face whatever judgment the courts gave him. Vanessa would build whatever life her choices allowed. Margaret would live with hers. None of them controlled what came next. For the first time in 5 years, everything I built from that day forward would belong completely to me. Not to Vanessa. Not to Damien. Not to Betrayal. Not to anger. Me.